Hey, welcome to this is the Algebra 2 Unit 3 practice test. The test is going to be just like this. I'll be cutting off question 2. I'm not going to... We have to learn... You guys would have to relearn your completing the square for quadratics. Hopefully we'll get back to that later this semester, but I'm going to cut this out because you don't have much practice. And if you do, you don't remember much about completing the square. So, here we are. Question 1. Oh, but like I said, the rest of the test will look just like all these questions here. This is pretty much what it looks like. Question 1, select all expressions that are equivalent to 64 2/3. Let me do like a super quick review of our exponent properties. If you've got, I'm using x, okay, but x would be this 64 number basically. If you've got x to the power of -1, that turns this, makes the reciprocal. We get this fraction where x is down to the denominator. If you had x to the power of -2, you'd get 1 over x squared. If you've got x to the power of a fraction, like 1/2, you know what that is? That is the square root of x. This ruler, see, they like to mess with me here. Square root of x. And so what's going on here? Notice down here in the denominator, 2, that's what the root that I'm taking. And in the numerator, this orange 1 up here, it would go right here. Technically, this is the power of 1. We just don't write that down every time. But it goes right there, okay? So, when you see a fraction like this 2/3, you know what that's going to be? 64 to the power of 2/3. 64 to the power of 2/3. This equals... Here's our base number. 64 is at the base. And it's going to be underneath a little radical here. And the numerator, that 2 on top. Let's highlight that in orange. The 2 right here, that's going to raise 64 to that power of 2. And the numerator, the 3, we can highlight that in purple. This 3 right here, we're taking the third root of 64 squared. So you just got to remember the denominator, or I'm sorry, the numerator is what we're raising it to the power of, and the denominator is we're taking that cube root. And you know what, that is exactly the same thing as the cube root of 64. If we put the 2 on the outside, guess what? It's the same exact thing. Whether we square it on the inside of the cube root or on the outside of the cube root, we're going to get the same number. So the most obvious 2 answers right here are B and D, okay? There's actually one more here where you plug 64 into your calculator. You take the cube root of 64 squared and you get something. And that's like, I think C might be the other answers, but it's just going to be 1. On the test, you're just going to pick 1. So don't sweat that third one there. We're just going to focus on knowing what to do with that numerator and the denominator when you have a fraction as an exponent.